And we are back! Thankfully, we didn't have to wait too long here for our players to get ready and get into a lobby. And now, we shall be beginning our second qualifying match of the evening. A qualifying rematch, we should say, between Bistork and Naxin.
There we go. People in the chat, you can see it now on your screens. Predictions are open. This is going to be a best of 5 rematch between these two players. Place your bets, people. Who is going to take it?
We're about to find out as we load into 2,000 atmospheres. LE. In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we of course have our pink Protoss player coming out from the land of Hong Kong, the only player from Hong Kong in today's bracket, and potentially the only other player from Hong Kong in the regional, to be determined. He is, of course, going to be representing the Juggernauts Calibre. I think I saw you, but I'm not actually sure now. We have Bistork.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the Taiwanese Terran player himself representing Clan Rush. It is Naxin.
And living up to his name a little bit here, blocking the expansion of Bistork now.
I just love the little marathon that Naxin has gone on, by the way. I only just noticed as I was introducing him. Naxin started off the night in a TVT against Lemon, ended up in a TVZ against Rex, and now in a TVP against Bistork.
Yeah, gonna prove himself in all 3 matchups. I mean, you know, nice little statistic that we'll be able to glean back into as we get into the regional itself to get a little bit of an understanding of his form in the various matchups.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see if his TVP is up to snuff here, as already starting off with that NG block being as annoying as possible. Goes for a Reaper first here, no Marine first in this game 1. Oh!
Oh, a block for a block!
Beast was like, yeah, what do you think about that?
Are you like them potatoes?
Exactly. This will be just that little bit more annoying here. Does delay the reactor that was, of course, I imagine going to be built. And Naxin playing this safe.
Sure it was.
Yeah, but Naxin playing it safe and going for the CC on the high ground.
Yeah, that in itself is already a nice little bit of value that Bistork has gotten.
Oh, the SCV.
Oh, it's weakened. It only has half health. The Marine trying to run down, but the Marine is not quick enough. That is the payback that we were talking about here from Bistork.
Let's go, Bistork. He takes a probe, takes an SCV. Finally, he's able to reclaim control of his own natural base and take that Nexus. At the same time, he's going to be trying to go across the map and delay the CC or delay any kind of landing even longer, but he's being kited away, and this Zealot is, going to stay alive.
As the bunker should be finishing up here. Nice KD8 charge, just slowing down the Stalker once again. Yeah, this bunker should finish up, but will the Marine will be able to get into that base?
Go, the Marine survives. Meanwhile, back at home, as Bistork is being as annoying as possible, we have a Stargate opener from our Hong Kong Protoss. Oh.
Okay then, playing it safe once again, so throwing down Phoenixes first. Naxin is very much prepared. He knows that, you know, this is a possibility, and he wants to just cover all his bases, so he does get a Cyclone. But the thing about Phoenixes is that Bistork doesn't have to use them to kill, SCVs, not yet anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But this Reaper Scout is oh so important. Does confirm the Stargate opener, does confirm the Phoenix first as well, so he's well aware that there aren't going to be any Oracles coming across the map, and now he can adapt accordingly. He still wants some anti-air because he doesn't want to get overwhelmed by all those Phoenixes, but a great scout nonetheless.
It really was. Now we'll see where he goes from here. So 2 more Raxes to get thrown down. Nicely done! Bistork! Okay. Breaks that division.
Yeah, a little bit of a missed rally there, a little bit of a careless rally from Bistork, sustaining a lot of damage already on one of these Phoenixes. Meanwhile, we've seen Bistork do this before. He gains control with the Phoenixes, keeps his opponent at home, cuts corners, and goes straight into Colossus.
Yeah, love to see it. And yeah, as you mentioned, the Phoenixes are one of the best ways to really take control of the map. They are really kind of a bully unit right now. He's forcing Naxin to spread out his Marines and his Cyclone, you know, all of his anti-air across his base and preventing him from pushing out like he wants to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what can Naxin do other than stay at home at least until Stim finishes up? So he is currently being contained. Meanwhile, Bistork, again, working off of very minimal units overall, only has 2 Stalkers and a Sentry back at home. He's able to get away with this and get his tech up and running. I imagine we're going to be seeing a 3rd base pretty shortly. There we go, Probe is already headed over to that area.
And here comes that Colossus we were teasing. One of the best defensive units as a Protoss player in this stage of the game.
Exactly, we even have extended thermal lands immediately being started as well. This will delay the 3rd Nexus a little bit here by Bistork, but again, just focusing a lot more on his tech for the time being.
Like so. Yeah, it's building up for an eventual push coming out from Naxin, which... for now, where it's looking, I imagine Bistork should be fine, but you never know with him, do you? He's the type of player who will run his units into bunkers and tanks. So.
Yeah, we've caught him in 1080p live. It's a terrifying prospect, mate. As Bistork does take his base, and now this is going to eventually prompt Naxin to push out across the map. He will be hitting with +1, so this is going to be a very powerful push, but that's why getting the Colossus was oh so important. Bistork has to make sure he meets this army. Unfortunately, he doesn't really see this coming, but he barely catches the tail end of the reinforcements with his Phoenixes.
Yeah, and he has to make a decision with these Phoenixes, either go back home to 8 defense or go in to get some harass. I think going into harass would be a little too micro-intensive, so he settles on just picking off reinforcements. Already takes out the mines, which is very, very nice. But this is a concave of bio! Trying to get on top of the Colossus, but it is not going to be enough as the Marines get absolutely shredded and the Phoenixes come back to deal with the Marauders.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, it's a concave, but for who? Oh, he turns around, he dives into the Colossus, and it looks like he will get 1 Colossus for his troubles.
Which is actually a really nice pickoff. It is a very high-tech unit of the Protoss player, but yeah, not quite going to be enough to make up for the losses of the rest of the army. Naxin now scrambling to get a 3rd base.
Yeah.
Whereas Bistork already has his about halfway saturated.
Exactly, just look at the resources lost. It took a lot to take down 1 Colossus. At least he did. Colossus do snowball incredibly out of control once you have enough of them. But Bistork was able to defend with minimal units. He gets his 3rd up and running, and he maintains a little bit of a probe lead. What I'm worried about, though, is that he did end up losing a lot of Phoenixes in the process. Like, there were arguably some unnecessary losses there from the side of Bistork.
Yeah, he's remaking them now, but ideally you wouldn't be at a position where you're remaking your Phoenixes. It's usually you got your 6, I believe, is where you want to stop off as the Protoss player, and then you're done. You're not spending you're not spending a single mineral on that, and instead working on your splash damage.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and if his Colossus hadn't been killed, then we would I imagine already be seeing disruptor production or some other kind of tech. Charge is now on the way to help out. And overall, like, all said and done, like, Bistork is still in a really great position. He could even go as far as to take a 4th.
Which he's setting up, but, you know, hasn't really committed to just yet.
Not yet. There were a couple of spotted Marines spread out around the map. They're just being picked off here one by one by these Phoenixes. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have a pretty big commitment into Vikings, which I do enjoy. Vikings have kind of a multi-purpose role, and oh my god, the Phoenixes just overextend a little bit here.
Yeah, they eat a mine shot to the face, and you could tell that he was tempted to pick up that tank, but he knows that doing so would mean the end of these Phoenixes. So, yeah, another couple of unnecessary losses here for Bistork, and he is forced to remake all of those Phoenixes.
Yeah, the Phoenix production just doesn't stop here. Like, I don't know how I really feel about this. Meanwhile, here come those disruptors. Naxin gonna push out again with another small force. I don't know what he really intends to get done here, other than maybe just take control of those towers.
Maybe he's trying to go for probe kills or whatnot, but yeah, I agree with you there. It's gonna be very tough for him as long as Bistork is in position to deal with drops.
Exactly. Speaking of Bistork, he pushes out. He wants to meet this army, and yeah, Naxin knows that he can't really contend too much with this, but he does focus down one of the Phoenixes.
Which really cuts into the crowd control potential of the eventual fight. That's a very high energy Phoenix that is very low on health. We got 2 tanks right now, and a whole lot of Vikings. I'm liking Naxin's defensive position, but it is only covering one front.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the defenses here at the third base are pretty good, but what about the Natural? The Natural is completely wide open!
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit surprised that Bistork didn't go for it, but I guess he doesn't want to overextend. Very juicy Purification Nova, but what is there to deal with all of these Vikings? A couple of Coasts come out as well, and do land their EMP. Stalker's trying to deal with the Vikings before they kill the Colossus, and they will be able to do so. Bistork is overwhelming everything that Naxin has.
Wow, I thought maybe the Vikings would be enough to take down the Colossus, but they were not. GG gets called, and Bistork takes the first game.
Is this the same guy who pushed into bunkers on Blackburn? I mean...
Oh god, thankfully there were no bunkers at that third base. Again, the Vikings were a little bit too preoccupied with the Phoenixes, so I guess it was well worth it to invest into them. Again, he was losing a lot, but he was also rebuilding them, and they were tanking a lot of shots from those Vikings. Oh boy. Also, that was a pretty great surround as well on the low ground tanks. There were 3 tanks, and they just got completely overwhelmed by Zealots.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because even though it did look like the, whatchamacallit, Colossus were about to go down, even if they did fall to the Vikings, there was no answer to the rest of the round army.
Yeah.
And now we're getting to game 2.
Yeah, we are getting ready for game number 2. And again, like, a lot of this is also just because of the opener, like Bistork getting that map control, just getting very quickly into those Colossus, into those Disruptors. He got away with murder when it comes to taking up into those robotic spay units. Yeah, there's a lot of power in that army.
Yeah, and they weren't all in the Colossus. They weren't all concentrated.
Boy. And we'll see if you can get away with that again, because that's the kind of thing you can do on these larger maps, whether it's 2,000 atmospheres, whether it's even Pride of Altaris, or even Glittering Ashes.
LE. As we load into, like we were saying, Glittering Ashes, LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, running all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have our pink Protoss player coming down from the land of Hong Kong. He is the normally known as the Kong of Hong Kong, but he is looking to turn that around. He is going to be representing the Juggernauts, that nautical army, otherwise known as the Navy. He is Bistork.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Taiwanese Terran player himself, representing Clan Rush. It is Naxin. And I'm waiting for the broadcast where we get to cast the Kong versus the King, mate. That's what I want.
Oh, where we get the King Kong match.
That's another player. That's a Korean player.
Yeah.
But that's my dream. that's all I want out of these.
Archon against King Kong.
Yeah. That's all I want out of these Taiwan Hong Kong regionals, mate. Make it happen.
You heard it here first. Seeding, math, make it happen.
There you go, mate. There you go. As in this opener, this time Naxin will not go across map. He will not NG block. Again, it's not really ideal to do so just because of how long the rush distance is or the walk distance is for these SCVs.
Yeah, so he's just going to do. He's going to focus on his own economy for now, and work on the Reaper Scout instead.
Exactly. No SCV scout whatsoever from Naxin. Once again, going for the CC on the high ground. So playing this very safe.
About as safe as you can possibly get. And once again, just preventing that add-on. And oh, this time it actually does come into play. Is he is not getting a safety marine at all.
I mean, you could argue last game he was forced to get the first Marine just because of that pylon block. Here, Naxin's like, nah, I'm no.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to lift
That's
up.
when it hurts.
Yeah, move everything around.
And of course, this is something that Bistork will confirm of his pylon. So he is aware that Bistork, or Naxin rather, is gonna have a lot more bio units to contend with. This can be a sign that the Terran player is gonna be a bit more aggressive, but yeah, it does take a bit of a follow-up scout for him to confirm. Meanwhile, he's getting the Stargate again.
Yeah, I was kind of alluding to it earlier, but the larger the map, the more feasible it is to go for Phoenix openers. This doesn't necessarily mean that we could be seeing an Oracle first instead, just to be a little bit more aggressive, but regardless, Stargate does make sense on Glittering Ashes.
I mean, it's in the name, you know?
What?
I had something going there.
You're like, I had a thought. I don't know where it went, but I had it.
Phoenixes, there we go, because they rise from the ashes.
There
That's
you
where I was
go.
going.
Is that what you were
But it's
going
not
for?
Phoenixes anyway.
Is that?
It's oracles anyway. I think that's what I was.
Okay, I'll take your word on it.
Yeah.
There we go. Oracle is going and zooming across the map. Not just one, we have a second one behind this.
Wow. He's going to be very committed coming up from Bistork, and I do like how active he's being with his depths as well, just being able to catch the Hellions and the Reaper as they move across the map. So Bistork not going to be going for SCB kills, going to be chasing out these Hellions, but we can see that this is actually much more valuable as Naxin is going for a Banshee, so
Yeah,
he's going to be very aggressive.
He is going for the Banshees. Meanwhile, it looks like the boys are being pulled against his depth. Thankfully, the Oracle is about to run out of energy, so won't be able to get too much economic damage done. Naxin gets away with this with only losing a single SCV.
Where's the question? What about the second Oracle?
True. What about second breakfast? Meanwhile, quickly looking at the vision, the starport has not been seen yet by Bistork. He doesn't know he has to be preparing himself for Cloak Banshees. Until now.
Yeah, it is very worrisome for Bistork, but he does confirm that is a starport that is researching, so hopefully he keeps his third Oracle at home. He doesn't.
He moves out with the third Oracle. To be fair, even if it was at home, he can't shoot up with it. We do have a couple of Stalkers being worked in. He does need a reveal, baby. Everything's coming back.
But not before 5 probes get taken out for Bistork. And this is damage that Naxin needs to get done.
Yeah, exactly. Especially after the early game. Here we go. 6-7 probes go down, and that was only the first Banshee. The second one is about to rock up.
Unless it doesn't.
True. I don't know if it's the wisest choice to go in right now.
Yeah, it can very easily be intercepted by the Oracles and the Phoenixes. I'm hoping Bistork doesn't get too ahead of himself here and decides, alright, I've dealt with that, now to go across the map. He does, but he's not the Banshee.
He is headed on over. The Banshee's trying to sneak through everything, and looks like he will be able to get some more probes.
Yeah, it's 9, 10 in total. 11, 12? 12!
13!
13!
Hey.
14! No.
Oh my god, 13 probe kills just like that. Naxin takes the lead in the workers. He still hasn't gone for a 3rd CC yet, but that army is slowly getting larger and larger. Oh boy. Meanwhile, Bistork is actually delaying his splash damage, going straight into charge instead.
Alrighty then, a little bit of a swarm toss style that we're seeing here, even getting +1 armor to complement those charge slots to make it so that, you know, they don't die before they connect with the Marines and whatnot.
Yeah, like, I kind of like this, but at the same time, Bistork did just lose a massive wave of probes, so he doesn't have the best economy to sustain this.
Well, on the flip side, it's also because he lost so many probes to the Banshees that he can't afford to tech up.
True. You're not wrong, mate. Like, gases are hard to come by. He is taking his gases at his natural, though. So he is going to be working on that a little bit. He's still continuing to pump out more of these Phoenixes, and he is going for a Templar Archive. So he's looking to go into Archons. Or Storm.
Yeah, also very gas intensive, but Definitely very effective.
Go.
Against Marines! A beautiful catch here. On that stasis ward, but yeah, not really something that Bistork can capitalize on just yet. Or can he, as he lifts up the tanks and deals with the rest of the Marines. The Oracles that get taken out.
They did get taken out, but the Zealots, they come out on top. They're chasing down everything as if the third tank gets taken out, or it gets lifted up even.
And now it gets taken out before the stasis ward can really reset. And Bistork sandwiching this army. He can even chase down the medevacs with his Phoenixes. Everything is going right for Bistork and everything is going wrong for Naxin. Is this the same player we saw the other day?
Mate, Bistork is upset. He is angry after the open qualifier. She's like, nah, mate, do you know who I am? I'm the Kong from Hong Kong. Let's go. And now the Zealots are getting into the natural base. All the fractal units were taken down earlier.
He's even going into the main, mate. GG is called in all caps because even Naxin is impressed. And now he only needs un momento, por favor. That was shut down so incredibly. That was brutal.
Oh my god. It's crazy. Oh, the dot.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Naxin
man.
cannot believe it.
I really can't. I'm looking at chat here who hasn't caught up yet, you know. Tech push in about 8 minutes. It's gonna be all over, mate. I thought so too. I gotta be honest, I really thought so too. But Bistork proved us wrong. Yeah. We're at an actual loss for words here.
So is Naxin, mate. So is Naxin. He's like,
Yep. These English words.
Oh my!
I can't read. I can't. Yeah.
I was just throwing it in Google Translate, and he was like, I think he was just, what happened? Oh my god.
That's what we're still trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh.
Are we gonna see a 3-0 Yaku? Is that what's happening right now?
Maybe. Either that or we're seeing a reverse sweep. But regardless, we are going to be coming in, continuing our best of 5 qualifying match here on Curious Minds LE. Of course, in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner, we have our Pink Protas player coming out from the land of Hong Kong, known for a very long time as Kong of Hong Kong, but after tonight, it really looks like he is shaking off that, or might be able to change his name here. Title, so to speak, representing the Juggernauts. He is the deliverer of losses. He is the one who will, whatchamacallit, that came out wrong. Anyway, we have Bistork.
What was that?
He delivers punishment. I was trying to go for something like that. Yeah.
He's the hype killer, Yaku. He's
hype killer, deliverer of this hype killing.
God damn. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the hype himself. We were so hyped coming into the day for him, but he is down 0-2. One more loss and he is out of the tournament, and he is currently getting proxied. We have the Taiwanese Terran representing Clan Rush. It is Naxin.
Deliverer of GGs, maybe. No, but that can be interpreted wrong. Send it. Yeah. We'll work on it. But yeah, as I was, watching the stream catch up, I remembered that we were really worried for Bistork because he was going for a very gas-intensive. He was working anyway on getting ready to get a very.
Yeah, he was working on the future
with those High Templar. He was working on the future.
Yeah.
But it turns out he didn't even need to.
Yeah. We thought future was NA. We thought he was in NA.
Yeah.
And he is. He wasn't here.
He is. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my.
Who needs gas when, you can just kill your opponent.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Meanwhile, Bistork is getting his first couple of Zealots out. The goal here is to sneak in and take down this building SCV. But Naxin, he's checking. Oh, he sees.
And he will confirm. And there's still a little bit of time here for Naxin to build up defenses. He definitely wants to try to kite this Zealot as best as possible.
Exactly, he wants to kill on that SCV. He will force it off the CC, so again, will delay that CC for quite some time. But with this Reaper staying at home, it will make short work of these Zealots. Oh my god.
Or will it?
Hey, look what's being researched. But it may be denied.
Custom shells is on the way, yeah. And
repairs?
repairs!
Repairs!
There's actually not enough surface area for repairs!
Ooh.
But there is enough to out heal a single zealot.
Mate, that was so close. That was that one less than a second away from getting killed and getting concussive shell denied. Meanwhile, the Marauder is revealed here to Bistork.
Yeah, and obviously with 2 Marauders, this should just about be the end of the proxy for Bistork, but not the end of the game just yet, as Bistork is still... He has expanded back at home, and he is working on another Stargate.
Yeah, mate, Bistork, he's all about taking flight. He is all about them Stargates today. Oh my, and we'll see if Naxin can do anything. The problem is that because of this opener, this Reaper has been stuck here across the map, back at home. It even gets sniped. Like, Naxin hasn't scouted anything.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty unfortunate. Will he lose a Marauder? Oh, mate. No, unfortunate. Yeah, 2 Marauders are really good, but not good enough to out-damage the 3 Stalkers. Bunker's not even going to finish up.
Mate, 2 Marauders and the Hellion go down. The wall is not a wall. These Stalkers are getting out of control. Again, this wasn't even meant to do this.
Kill.
That was a kill! Naxin, he's in shambles! Ah!
But he has the Cyclone out now, so he has a lot more potential.
He does. He's not dead. He's just... It's not looking good.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But on the flip side of that, you know, Bistork does still need quite a bit of time to set up. After getting the single Oracle, he's transitioning to a Twilight Council, so once again, I may be huffing the Copium Light, but I really do think that Naxin still has... Like, Naxin is still looking alright.
Yeah. He's like, it's still good. It's still good. You know, there's just some dirt on it. You know, just 5-second rule.
I wouldn't go as far as to say good, but you know, he's not dead.
Yeah, he's not dead. He's meanwhile, the Oracle dives in, and there is nothing here in the main base. The forces of Naxin are focused at the natural. The Cyclone will come over, but not before 3 SCVs go down.
Yeah, thankfully though, we don't have a delay on that barracks, so. Yeah, it's still going to be able to... Naxin, rather, will still be able to pump out units, but I'm looking at a worker difference right now, Light, and I think that tells most of their story. Bistork not even that far behind in army, either.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Naxin isn't out of this yet. You know, he can still maybe work on some push. He does have a couple of Marauders remaining. He does have Concussive Shell. Maybe he can try and hit the timing, and maybe Bistork can be caught being a little bit too greedy. You know, he's working on a 3rd base. He's not quite taking up too much, but he's only working with 2 gateways right now. Like, if an army, or sorry, 3 gateways, I should say. But if a fight swings in favor of Naxin, like, Bistork won't really have much left over.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of potential for him to, when it comes to production. Even though he has a lot of mineral income right now. Which is why it's so important for him to keep an eye on Naxin like this. You know, he kept the Oracle alive, he still has a decent amount of energy on it, so... Yeah, these revelations are absolutely key for him. He needs to be reactive.
Yeah, and the problem is that, like, Naxin can't move out anytime soon. Just because Stim is so late, like, I understand the need to get Concussive Shell early on to be able to shut down these Stalkers and stop them. But, God, oh no, the tank! No!
Oh, with the revelation, it does provide We're seeing another Stasis Ward get triggered, and this is when Bistork decides to just stim in, takes out the other tank, and we're seeing a very familiar story to that previous game, Light, and I hope this isn't how it ends. Mate. But there's still plenty of time on that stasis, so it might be how it ends.
Mate, the stasis traps this series have been absolutely insane. We do see him blink backwards. He does take down that Cyclone. He will be forced back, but again, the damage that is being done is insane.
But he ain't dead.
True. His heart is still beating, mate. +1 is still the way. Stim is still the way as well. But his tank count has been reset. Like, again, the pushing power isn't that amazing. We do see a revelation. Ooh, does spot both those Widow Mines. He wants them.
He blinks, but not as good of a blink as it could have been.
Hey, he saved
61 workers.
Look, Naxin, he's got Stim. Alright? Right.
He's got mine.
Let's go!
He's got medevacs. Let's go.
He can go for drops. He'll be spotted because of the revelation though, so he can't really leave his home yet. He has to wait until this runs out. Meanwhile, Bistork, again, being as annoying as possible, keeping eyes on this, making sure, trying to bait out any kind of stim he can.
And behind all of this, he has fixed his production issues. He's even taking a 4th base, and he has, what, 8 gateways right now? He's producing mortals as well, and there's that drop we were talking about. Very nice blink.
Yeah, the blink comes in, the drop has to turn around. He doesn't want to die to just these measly stalkers. He has more than enough army to really clean this up, so, I mean, you know, he'll be able to trade relatively well. Oh my god, he just keeps going!
Yeah, he can afford to lose these stalkers now.
Yeah.
He can very easily replace them, and he even recalls one of them out. I think it was one of them anyway.
Yeah. One stalker survived. This one.
It is. Yeah.
Oh god, and here we go. We have a mass doom drop moving out across the map. Unfortunately, it does get scattered by Bistork. The Oracle sees all this. Will get intercepted. Only 3 stalkers, so Bistork can't really do anything about this. Naxin is up in army supply.
Yeah, a little bit miscalculated there for Bistork, but he is trying to fight in the middle of the map right now. Naxin is up in army supply, but let's not forget, a lot of army supply are in these 5 medevacs. But if Bistork overextends, there's still a chance for Naxin.
There is. The Zealots all get cleaned up. Without Zealots, there is no buffer here for the army of Bistork, but he still has the numbers. He's still forcing this back. We have more reinforcements.
We do have more reinforcements as that proxy was not dealt with, but finally Bistork has decided, you know what, I don't want to pull a Blackburn on you.
Yeah, I mean, there are Widow Mines here on the high ground. He doesn't want to throw everything away. He's going to, again, just secure his position here. +1 is on the way. Second Forge is on the way as well. He thinks, hey, you know what, maybe it's a good idea to get some splash damage.
Yeah, Disruptors work very well. Colossus not as well, but still well enough, IMO.
Yeah. Oh, they can definitely make some magic happen here. It's going to take a while for them to really come out because Bistork has been focusing a lot more on just a pure gateway army. So, again, not the most sophisticated army, but he just has the numbers.
Yeah, debating himself a little bit, questioning whether he wants to go for a multi-prong or not, and he doesn't for now.
Yeah, he does. Decent force fields, able to keep the army at bay. At the same time, Bistork is going into the natural.
With 4 Zealots and much more to come, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. War Prism goes all the way into the main base. At the same time, Bistork is posturing to hit that 3rd.
As there are units in every single base right now of Naxin. He is getting picked apart a little bit, but because they've been dealt with one at a time, he can now rotate his forces around and deal with this army. I say deal with this army, but Bistork has just about evened up the upgrades, and he will be standing strong pretty here. Loses the engagement in the end, but he dealt what he needed to do.
Yeah, 10, 12 SCVs have gone down here. Oh, War Prism gets sniped as well. Honestly, this is a pretty great defense by Naxin. Bistork, he is lacking here when it comes to his army supply, but when it comes to workers, mate, 70 probes. This is disgusting.
Versus 38. But mules.
Mules, let's go! We have mules. We have triple orbital.
This is when the Protoss player goes DTs. Because he knows his opponent is muling so many medevacs out here.
That would end the game, by the way. DTs would be amazing. For Bistork. But it looks like for the time being, he doesn't need one. He is going for a second robo for that double Colossus production. Meanwhile, again, just fully saturating all of his bases, making himself secure, throwing down some stack defense as well as he's preparing for an attack. Naxin, still licking his wounds, but, you know, pretty big army nonetheless.
Yeah, he's got the higher army supply, and it's not, and it's a pretty significant increase in army supply. Sure, he has 7 medevacs, and that's a little bit excessive, but he also has a decent number of liberators. He also has a decent number of marauders. These mines can zone out the army as well.
Yeah, like, again, Naxin still has one big push in him that he can maybe make work, especially because there aren't too many Colossus. Dark Shrine is on the way, but it's not ready yet. He's going in.
And this is where Bistork has to be very, very careful. He does not want to fight out of range of the shield batteries. Very nice liberation zones, but even better force fields. And 2 more Colossus are coming in.
They are coming in, but the Liberation Zones are in such a good position. We do see Bistork trying to force his way through, and it looks like he barely will.
Yeah, this is a good enough angle of attack here. You know, Naxin had the concave for a little while, but then Bistork out-concaved it. And he is chasing this all the way back home. Not a big buffer remaining for these Colossus, but 3 Colossus is still alive, and that in itself is pretty significant.
Yeah, again, that big push was it for Naxin. That was what he was hoping for. He was hoping to maybe break his opponent, and he almost did, but the Colossus were just far too powerful. And now, with the counterattack, Bistork, he is looking to end the game.
And he just about should. Here.
Yeah, we do have a tank on,
have
a tank on the high ground. The boys are being pulled, but oh my god, the SCVs are going down at the same time. So are some of the Colossus.
Boys are being pulled and the boys are being killed. All of the Colossus got taken out, but we've kind of reached a point where Bistork is switching gears and switching his composition. Shadow Stride being researched for these Dark Templar, and at the end of the day, Naxin still has a bigger army supply, but he's down 40 workers. So
yeah.
Even with mules, I'm not convinced.
That's the thing, right? It's just his economy. He has been trading better. You could argue that Bistork's macro has been slipping a little bit as well. You know, we haven't had consistent rounds of Colossus, only just now starting his next one, his next 2. So because of that, like, his army is lacking right now. He is still vulnerable.
Yeah, there is a way for Naxin to slowly but surely get himself back into this game economically, but okay, it hasn't happened yet. Oh! Oh.
No, the DTs are here, and again, he's been muling heavily. He has 1 scan in the 3rd base, and he's going to be able to go for it. Oh, goes for the AP, but he misses!
And he is forced to use the scan anyway. This is getting from bad to worse, to say the least, for Naxin.
Yeah, exactly. Another warping into the main base. More SCVs falling left and right. Naxin dropping below 30 workers there for a moment. And the DT's getting on top of the tank.
They do kill the tank, and he recalls just as he begins to morph into an Archon. Bistork not losing a single... He's not missing a single step here.
Yeah. He knows what he has to do to maintain his lead. Just keep sending DT after DT, force a reaction. We do have a missile turret here at the 3rd base, so at least he's, for the most part, defended here. But over time, Bistork should be able to overwhelm. He is getting a 5th base now.
I'm honestly surprised that we're getting to a point where Bistork does have a 5th base, but yeah, as you were saying, he is playing this out very, very cautious. He has learned from the other day, the other evening of qualifiers, hence why he vetoed Blackburn.
Yeah, that is why he vetoed Blackburn. He does want a repeat of what happened in qualifier number 1. DT is just ready and waiting to dive in. Shadow Stride is completed. They do have their blinks. With even more DTs.
It's Fear Dragon?
I mean, we would have started with DTs if it was Fear Dragon, to be fair.
True.
Oh god, but this is a Protoss army, Yaku.
Oh yeah. A good one. DT's making very short work off that mineral line. I say mineral line, but no, still mining to begin with.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I do have a bit of a scan. A couple of DTs do get taken out, but here comes that main army. 4 Colossus Disruptors. They go off, and they do get dodged, but there's just still so much Protoss.
Yeah, I really like the angle here of Naxin, but we've gotten to the point where, you know, it doesn't really matter how you position it. Bistork has way too much, and it is way too powerful.
Exactly. In the end, all the Colossus will be focused down by the Vikings, but GG gets called, or not even, but Bistork will take the series 3-0.
Bistork will be the next player advancing and qualifying for the DreamHack Masters Valencia regional event for Taiwan, Hong Kong, meeting his fellow countryman Go Joey. And I guess this series it really just goes to show how analytical and how adaptable Bistork can be in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, we were talking about it. We were like, yo, Bistork is the kind of player to analyze his losses quite well. He can come up with better plans and better kind of ideas on how to approach a certain matchup and a certain player. And you know, at a certain point, I was like, "Are we just on some copium here? Is Naxin just gonna roll him again?" But no, there was some value there in that.
I was definitely on copium.
Yeah, exactly. Like I agree. Like I still thought that Naxin was the favorite coming into this series, but Bistork, this was a different Bistork that we saw compared to the open qualifier. He was a little bit more decisive here. You know, he was making less mistakes. You could argue that maybe with his Phoenixes, he didn't have the most amazing Phoenix control, but like everywhere else, like he wasn't lacking.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah.
This is why he's the hype killer.
Wow. True that he has. I mean, mate, he earned his nickname a long time ago.
Usurper.
And he still got it, mate. He still got it. GG, well played. Bistork will be moving on to the main event to join his brethren, to join his fellow Juggernaut brother. Go Joey.
When you said brethren, I thought I was like, yeah, it could either be Go Joey or it could be the big three Protoss players in the region. So yeah, it does feel appropriate for Bistork to be going to that main event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Meanwhile, I do kind of lament a little bit here for Naxin because he was looking so good coming into the qualifiers, and even losing against Rex, he looked good as well. But here against Bistork, maybe there was a little bit of overconfidence. Maybe there wasn't too much like pressure on him. He thought, you know what, I'm the better player. I don't have to. I can maybe take this a little bit easy. Especially after game 2. Like, after game 2, he was in the chat. Like, he was very surprised at what was happening.
He was what the heck just happened to me?
Yeah, he was in disbelief, mate.
That might have been, and that might have still been on his mind a little bit as we got into game number 3. But, yeah, despite all of that, I do definitely hope we see more of Naxin. He has it in him to make it to that main event as he has in the past, and it would be a shame to lose him. Again, I still feel like he is the most distinct or the most different Terran player in Taiwan. So I'd like to see a heck of a lot more of him.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see it as well. I would as well. Oh my god, what a wild ride we've had tonight. Like, I don't think a single series disappointed. We've had some upsets, we've had some stomps, we've had a little bit of everything, and wow, just wow.
Just wow.
What a great way to start the closed qualifiers.
Yeah, kick it off with a bang, and then there's a saying, but I don't remember it right now. So yeah, we're starting things off with a bang here. There are gonna be plenty more closed qualifiers to come, all condensed in a single weekend. So
exactly
get ready for that.
Exactly, mate.